So this video is looking at a slightly more complex drawing of shapes, and instead of just straight lines we're using Bezier vertex lines. So first I'm going to just show you the shape so you can see what it is, because this won't make a lot of sense unless you see it. So drawing the shape, you can see there's a corner here, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. So now if we go, we'll stop that and we'll quickly jump over to Illustrator, and we'll look at sort of how the shape is drawn. So the Bezier vertex works very much like the Bezier handles in Illustrator. And the way the shape is drawn is, this is the first shape, or the first point in the shape. And so if we jump back to the code here, we can see setup, standard, no surprises there, background, stroke, stroke weight, stroke join miter, no fill, and then beginShape. And then the first thing I do is draw a vertex right after beginShape. So just like in the previous version of drawing a shape, we begin with just a vertex. Then we shift to Bezier vertex. And so you can see there are 6 parameters, and the parameters are all XY coordinates, so it's 3 different points. And one is a control handle, and the control handle is connected to this previous vertex. The second is another control handle, and this control handle is connected to this vertex, and the third is a vertex. So it's control handle, vertex. And then it goes again, control handle, vertex. So again, a bit hard to follow, but once you actually understand it, it's not quite so confusing. So here's the first vertex, 150 at 100. And then, so the first control point, or control handle, is 400, 100. So it's axis 400. And you can see in Illustrator, I drew a grid and basically put a grid line every 50 pixels, just as this was just illustrative. But you can see, if I turn the grid back off and I select this point, you can see this is the Bezier handle. Whoops, that is not the Bezier handle. This is the Bezier handle. So this is the Bezier handle of this point, right? And so I'm basically measuring where that Bezier handle is, which is it's at 400 by 100, and then just basically drawing a Bezier handle for the purposes of this illustration. Okay, so going back here, we had Bezier vertex 400, 100, so that's this. Then 350, 150, so that's this Bezier control handle. Then we have 350, 250, so that's a control point. Okay, then we move to the next, which is Bezier vertex control handle 350, 300, that's this one. Then we've got another control handle 500, 400, that's way out here. And then that is connected to this next, that is connected to this next control point, which is 50, 250. 150, 400. I jumped a line there. Okay, and then it basically continues all the way around, and you'll notice the last point matches the vertex, so it's a closed shape. only if you need it to be a closed shape. It doesn't have to be a closed shape. So we'll go back to the code and just take a quick look at it. Now that you've sort of illustrated that, it hopefully will make a bit more sense. Maybe one other thing to point out is you'll notice whereas this has two control handles, this only has a control handle here. And you're familiar with this in Illustrator where you basically eliminate the second control handle and you have sort of a hybrid joint where it's a curve on the side and it's a corner on this side. But what we've done is basically collapsed the control handle all the way so it's sitting exactly on top of the point. And so that'll give you a corner. If you can't get rid, because you can't not have parameters for that second control handle, so you have to give it parameters, and so the parameters just basically have it sitting on top of the point. Okay, so I think that pretty much explains it. Hard to work with, but it offers some opportunities once you're no longer coding it with hard coding it with fixed values, but actually using variables, which we'll get to in the next round of tutorials.